out there. Actually cooled off a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we're here, Sprouse.
Ain't no doubt.
Camp is upon us.
Driving through the night. You know what I mean?
Got some of the players already together. I see QB out there, some skill guys.
DB's been out here for half an hour. That's the thing. That's not how it used to be. Because me and old Swaggy used to have to be out here 45 minutes before practice with knee braces on. I mean, I don't think. Well, you had to wear a knee brace.
I did my senior year.
Yeah, I was going to say the average Joe doesn't understand the extra time and effort it takes to put ankle braces and knee braces on. And I was always a basketball tape guy.
Yeah.
Just the flex tape.
That's what I was.
Shout out to Biggie.
Biggie.
Tape the ankles all the time. And then, the least amount of tape possible. I did wrist tape. Never did ankle braces. Never did knee braces till I got here. And then my first year, walk-on year, I'm wearing like pull-up sleeve knee braces that are like sliding down.
Oh, yeah.
And then they finally, when I arrived, got the fitted ones. Don Joys. Those are the Cadillac of knee braces.
They are.
Don Joys.
It's the creme de la creme.
They don't work. I mean, because, funny enough, I never hurt my knee until I started wearing them. So, that's how it goes. Well,
Absolutely.
I think we're ready to crank this thing up, ain't we, Jeff?
This thing off and get to it.
Have you had it from somebody born and raised in Lafayette, Louisiana, at a tailgate? Doubt it.
Lee Corso is a guy who had a retirement party 10 years ago, and yet he still won't leave the office.
Projected getting drafted between the first and third round. That's incredible. The wide receivers are absolutely stacked for the group of five.
I said Michael Pratt has got to show up and play, and boy did he. 394 yards, 4 touchdowns, 48 rushing yards on the ground, and another touchdown.
I really appreciate you do for the Group of 5 programs, and I think it's great. I think we should get more of this, but you guys are on the forefront of this. And
so I'm thankful for this. I'm glad that you're talking about the Group of 5 because I think they get overlooked.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
I appreciate what you guys do, truthfully. Covering the Group of 5. Y'all said it earlier, but the Sun Belt to me is college football.
Jeff Murphy, it is good to be home, my friend.
We are here. Training camp is upon us, live on a beautiful Wednesday morning here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Well, it was warm, to say the least. About an hour ago when we pulled up, we started setting everything up. We got a little cloud cover. We got currently Little John and Little Scrappy on the sound in the background, if that's what you're hearing. Circa 2005 or 2006. I think this is on my sophomore, junior year of high school pregame playlist. I could not imagine. I got to move back to Murfreesboro. I love it here.
It's fantastic being 45 minutes outside of Nashville. What's not to love? You got the big city there. You got the biggest undergrad in the state of Tennessee here.
That's right.
And Sprouse, big thing. I know we'll get into it a little bit later. We got a big show coming up, some guests coming on. I see backhoes, excavators, dump trucks, facilities. Facilities are underway.
Jeff, I think it's safe to say that me, you, Jesse, Tip have been the most critical group about the upgrades and the progress at this university. And I still got some stuff to say, and I've been saying it for a decade. Put a shovel in the dirt. And when I pulled up into Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and I see 4 excavators over there. Yep. I see bleachers missing. I hear aluminum clanging and banging.
Love it.
It's happening. It's happening, and we got the official, brochure. It is going to be the Kevin Byard Strength and Conditioning Center, which that's big time.
Yeah, that's huge, and it should be named after him. Massive donation by KB, good friend of ours, and they need it though. The upgrade in facilities is long overdue. We've talked about it for years and years since we got done playing, and that's what this program needs to take the next step, especially in recruiting. We've been across the country the last couple of years since we started doing this thing, and the quality of facilities in the Group of Five, I mean, it's honestly incredible. It's unreal.
Yeah.
So middle's been behind. They got to get on par with everybody else in order to stay relevant in the recruiting battle and with the transfer portal and just the total landscape of college football right now.
Yeah.
It's a must. So I'm glad we're seeing work being done, and like I said, we got Chris Massaro, the athletic director, coming on here in a few minutes. Hopefully he'll give us a full update, timeline, all that good stuff. But it's a happy sight.
Well, and I think too, for what it's worth, with all this conference realignment. Now we've not been to some of these new Conference USA schools. We've been to Western. We've seen what Liberty's got going on. But you'd like to think, if you're middle, that this upgrade will at least put them back at the top of Conference USA. From what the pictures and plans look like, it looks like it's going to be one of the best in the Group of Five. And, again, that's what you're missing. You look, when I drove in today, so I drove in, coming up from the south. So I drive up 65, drive over 840, and there's just developments now on every single exit. And what that tells me is this whole entire area just continues to grow. Obviously, we know Nashville's growing, but it's come down south to Murfreesboro. It's going over where you're at in the country, Christiana, Lebanon, McMinnville, all these little towns. And what that means too, Jeff, is the high school football is going to just keep getting better here too. And how do you keep these kids local? Facilities. And, I mean, we all know, you talk to Coach Stock, everybody loves Coach Stock. So you've got the people here that you want to be around, that you want to make, a home, a family. But lately you haven't had the facilities that everybody else has, and now you're getting it, and it is freaking fantastic to see.
Yeah, and you made a good point. This area is booming, especially over the last 2 years, being a business owner right downtown. I've seen it firsthand.
Domenico's Italian Deli right downtown on the square.
Yeah, go
Jeff Murphy, the owner, right here.
Go get yourself a good sandwich anytime you're in Murfreesboro. But it's the growth is incredible, and you get a lot of new people coming in from all parts of the country, and they want a team to support. Living here now, living in Tennessee, and whatever we can do to keep them from going east to Knoxville and keeping them right here local in Middle Tennessee it is huge. And with Oakland High School right down the road, I mean, they've won, I think, 3 or 4 of the last state championships here in Murfreesboro. So the high school talent here is fantastic. It's just, how do they keep the homegrown talent to come here local, and facilities? Facilities is what you got to start with for sure.
Yeah, and we'll get into the roster a little bit more as they start practicing. I'm looking at, the DBs up here is probably, it's been the best group at middle for probably a decade now. It's been the most consistent. You've had multiple coaches come in and out, and they stay consistent. You got NFL guys, country leaders in interceptions and turnovers. And that's, for what it's, that's how Stock has won games, is turnovers and special teams. And that's your group right there that's been, the biggest part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to list off a couple names, you got Kevin Byard, Charvarius Ward, you got Reed Blankenship, who made a name for himself last year after getting an opportunity. So the list is long, and we had him on one of our lists, our defensive back U list.
Yeah.
And how do you not have him in there in the top amongst the Group of 5 with all that production going to the NFL at the college level, and then that production at the NFL level? So they're going to continue to nurture that. They lost Kevin Byard, they lost Kenneth Gilstrap, the DB coach that has been here for the last couple of years to UAB, but they get Alex Suber, who is a former player here as well, right before we came. And I think he, from everything that I've heard, he's done a great job. And then he's a younger guy as well, played in the CFL for a little while. So he's able to relate with these young guys. And I think he's going to do a great job continuing to recruit local and recruit in this area. And I believe our first guest is coming on here, Sprouse.
No doubt about it. And I know he's happy to see what's going on. But we got Middle Tennessee Athletic Director Chris Massaro joining us. Mr. Massaro, can you hear us all right? No, we're no headphones kind of guys.
I can hear you great, and man, it means so much that you two are here to see what's happening, and it's a thrill for me to be on the air with you guys. I'm big fans of yours.
Thank you.
And follow you on Twitter and those kind of things. So listen to your podcast. So thanks for what you're doing and who you represent.
Well, and you probably know this if you see it. We've been begging for shovels in the dirt, construction happening.
You have.
And we talked, before we got started here. Never been more excited to see a pile of cement and aluminum before. So, and I know you are.
And your old weight room looks like a post-World War II Germany.
That's okay. That's okay.
But it's a beautiful sight, isn't it?
And
I
awesome.
think that I think all of our alums are excited to see that, and I hope the noise of the construction is coming in on the broadcast, because I feel like Robert Duvall. It's instead of it smells like victory, it sounds like victory to me.
Absolutely. And entering your 19th year, right, as
yes,
athletic
sir.
director
Yeah.
at this university. This has been something that has been long overdue. We've needed it. Excited to see it. What's kind of the timeline with the work being done, and where's it headed?
Yeah, and I think that the timeline is it's a 24-month construction project, so it's a massive building. It's a $66 million building and like 80-some thousand square feet.
Wow, awesome.
So it's going to be huge, and we're excited because the first floor will be really the Kevin Byard Strength and Conditioning room, and that'll be the first thing fans see as they come from the Hall of Fame side of the building, and that'll be for all of our student athletes. We'll have a nutrition center in there, and then for everybody, and then a training room for all student athletes, and then equipment room for football and the football locker room, putting a barber shop in the football locker room. So that's one of those little touches that you have to do these days. And then the second floor will be really football operations. We're moving them out of the Murphy Center.
Yep.
So the offices and meeting rooms and team auditoriums and those kind of things will all be on the second floor. And as we look at the stadium, that will be the level of the end zone concourse right now. And then we're removing the upper deck of the north end zone. And then the third floor of that building will be a club level for fans and community events that will look out over the football stadium. So it will provide both an interior view that will change the look of our stadium, and then the exterior view. I don't think people kind of realize the size of this building until it starts getting formed up, but it's going to be a massive building, so it'll draw an impression as people are coming to visit our facilities.
Awesome.
How important was it, or is it, do you think, to have such a current great NFL player like Kevin Byard to have his name on the building?
Well, Kevin's probably our most high-profile alum. Not probably, he is, particularly in this area.
Yep.
And I remember when he got drafted, I mean, I was like, we couldn't have picked a better person to be drafted by a better organization to represent us. And Kevin, is like Coach Stock always says, he was a pro long before he became a Titan. I mean, he came here with that kind of attitude. Did y'all overlap?
Yeah.
Yep. We were.
So you know.
He'd have been
a
freshman when he
was a freshman.
Yeah.
And I remember that game. Troy was here, and he had the pick six to win the game after Craig Allen.
Right after he got hurt.
Yep.
And we were behind, and it was literally one or two plays after we carted Craig off on the board with was a serious neck injury, but it wasn't as serious as we feared at the time. So the whole stadium was dead, and justifiably so. And then Kevin makes the play of the year, really, with that interception. So it's great to have him involved. We were able to retire his number last year and kind of honor him and those kind of things. So he's a great representative. And you know what? When Kevin's 60 years old, he'll still be a great representative and love this place. So that's what we like. And a lot of that credit goes to Coach Stock, who he brings in, and then what he does with the players while they're here. There is a definite bond from the coach to player, and then that carries on, as you guys well know, as ex-players to coach.
Yep.
And so that's really important to us. As we look at our fundraising for this building, that we've got a lot of our money, and I'm waiting. We have a meeting with a couple other guys here in a couple of weeks, but ex-players could be multi-million-dollar donors to this building. So that also says a lot when ex-players are donating back to the facility and what they think of the program.
Yeah, I mean, I know from our perspective, I mean, there's not a man I love more than Coach Stock, and that's just a testament to him, the relationship he builds as a player, and like you said, post player, and couldn't be more thankful that he's our head coach still, and I think he's going to continue to do great things. So got a question for you.
All right.
There's so much up in the air with this conference realignment. It's just nuts all over the country. What's kind of your opinion on it? What's kind of the take, and where do you see MTSU fitting, short term and long term?
Yeah, and I think that at first it makes me sad that, growing up as a fan of college sports, I love the Pac-12, the Pac-12.
I grew up watching it.
Yeah, and just relived it kind of with the Bill Walton documentary.
Yeah.
And those great UCLA teams, and then how many Olympians, and then Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart, and Warren Moon at Washington, and Marcus Mariota at Oregon, and just think about all the. So I'm really sad that it's gone, and so kind of I've always thought my position, I've got a solemn duty to MTSU, and I do everything I can 24/7 to advance this place. It's always on my mind. I'm always thinking about it. It never leaves. And so I put my heart and soul into this place, but also think I also have a greater responsibility too. And that's, I think people in my positions and above my positions should be guardians of the game.
Yeah.
And we're here to protect the game as much as anything as well. And I think we've lost that. What people are doing, well, that might be best for Oregon, or it might be best for Arizona at the time, but is it really good for the game? And what the Big Ten's doing, is it really good for the game? Might be great for the Big Ten, but I think we've lost that. And I'd like to see that come back in some, and maybe I'm living in fantasy land, but in some little sliver of people to back up and say, wait a minute, is it really good that our student athletes, our softball players are flying all over the country and these kind of things? Are we say we're student athlete based, but then our actions indicate otherwise? And these are good people, but it's just the circumstances and the market pressures have forced them into these positions that, in my view, kind of take the easy road out. And so, Jeff, long term, I like our spot. I like MTSU's spot. That's why we're putting so much emphasis in the facilities. We've got something a lot of schools dream of, and that's location.
Yep.
We can't. Other schools can't emulate our location. We're in economic growth. We're in population growth. We're in the middle of the country. It's perfect. Yeah. So, and I tell our coaches every time a local high school opens up, we should be popping the champagne cork, because that means more recruits are moving in, those kind of things. So we've got those kind of dynamics in play. Now, when we combine these $100 million plus facilities that are going to happen in the next 5 years to that, we're going to be even more of a force to be reckoned with than we are now. Yeah. And so I think that what you'll see is a great consolidation at the top, like the NFL type model. But then there will be a second cut of schools. Not everybody in the ACC is going to make that.
Yep.
And there will be this second cut of schools. And I've always said that, I don't know if we're ever going to be like Ohio State, but we can be like a lot of other schools.
Absolutely.
And so let's get into that second cut. And I think that's where the real values could be in college athletics, where we take care of the players, we take care of the student athletes, we make sure that the education's still a big part of that, and let those that look like the NFL be like the NFL, and then we'll be in that group. So that's that's where I'd ultimately like to be. I feel really good now. Short term, there's always bumpy roads to get to the long term goal. Yeah. It took us a while to align our fundraising and to align everybody to get this project moving. But once it does, it goes. Yep. And so I think that we might have a bumpy road or two before that happens. But I feel good about our partners in Conference USA and where we are. And we are the one conference that has room to expand. So if there are some orphans out there that we can look at and say, do they fit? Do they fit what we're trying to do? Then maybe we can expand as well.
Yeah,
love it. Well, Mr. Massaro, we know you got a bunch of other people to see. Thank you for coming on. Congrats on the progress.
Congrats to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything that you've done. And Matt, thank you. And Jeff, thanks. We're going to miss you this fall. But,
I know.
But we know. Again, I always admire people that put their values and your family first, and so
thank you.
So I appreciate that, and I know you'll be cheering us hard from around the corner.
And when we get a Kevin Byard deal, we'll put our name on something.
That'd be good too. That would be good. But and Kevin's great, and we're really lucky that we've got a lot of guys in the pros, and they've had good experiences here. So I think we can even contact more and make this a real team game.
Love it.
Chris,
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, big things coming.
And no question about
on
it.
the way for MTSU.
Yeah, no question about it. And definitely shout out to Mr. Massaro for coming and hanging out with us.
Yeah.
He knows we've been critical, Jeff.
I know it. He's seen it, and we got our next guest coming on here.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Stuart, how you doing?
Y'all doing, man?
What's happening?
Good to see you guys.
Couldn't be better.
Man, appreciate you. This is awesome, man. This is
big
good
time.
stuff. Appreciate you guys coming out.
Absolutely. We wouldn't miss it, and this is the first time Middle's done it, and I think more schools need to do this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Camp.
Well, we were talking. The cool thing, like during camp, the only thing that's on the TVs in the facility is like inside training camp.
Yeah.
The only thing these guys are watching is the same thing. And all of a sudden they take the field and they see this, and they're like, oh, you can just tell it's kind of a vibe. Everybody's kind of juiced up. So this is awesome, man.
Well, and the whole reason why we started this thing a couple of years ago is to give coverage to these schools
100%.
and the guys. I mean, we played here. Just we felt like nobody ever. We rarely on CBS, ESPN.
Sure.
Nobody ever talked about it. There was no content. So that's what we're trying to do is just push this content as much as possible.
Yeah, no question about it. And obviously Middle's home for us, so we're a little bit biased. A little bit. But the question for you, how's the offense looking so far?
Good. We're light years ahead of where we were this time last year, obviously. We got better depth, especially up front. That's probably
it's huge.
That's probably the biggest change and the biggest transformation is just our offensive line, our line of scrimmage up there. When I got here last spring, we went through spring ball with 6 linemen and then just had to replace so many. So that's been phenomenal. The mentality up front is a lot different with those guys. And then, from a skill standpoint, we feel really good about our depth as well. So that's probably the most encouraging thing is just, and you guys know this, when you watched us play last year, you could tell, me being a tempo guy, I did a terrible job because we were always kind of in between.
Yeah. Yep.
And you can't do that when you're a tempo offense. You've got to commit to it. You got to be convicted of it. But it's hard to do sometimes as well when you don't really have that depth that you need 100%. And you can't roll that second receiver in there, feel good about it, or even that third receiver in there, feel good about it. And I think that's the biggest difference right now is we feel so much better about our depth, so it's allowing us to play faster, get those snaps, and play at that pace.
Well, and we talk about it all the time. Matter of fact, we did our Conference USA preview, and my biggest storyline of the year was, can MT's O-line block?
Yeah.
Because, in my opinion, last year, other than that, is one of the best teams in the conference.
Yeah.
And, we talk about it, too, at the Group of 5 level. If one O-lineman goes down,
it can change your whole mindset.
It changes your whole season.
Yeah.
And the way that the schedule falls, last year was tough. You were front-loaded.
Yeah.
You play all the best teams in the conference back to back to back, and everybody's like, talking negative. But we know it's like, look, they just played Western, UTSA, and UAB.
Sure.
Like, relax. But so you think the depth this year, I mean, you'll be going tempo. a lot of points, a lot of plays.
That's who I am. At my core, that's who I am. That's who I've always been for, man, since 2010 probably, is a tempo guy. I like to always be thinking about the next play. I want it to be when we're snapping this play, I'm already calling the next play. You'll get a chance to see that. Today we'll do a tempo on air, period. Offense versus ourselves. When we go versus the defense today, it'll be a little bit different. We're going to get some of these, not young guys, but new guys looks, so that'll be a little bit more slowed down. But at our core, we're going to try to snap it as fast as we can, as long as that's best for the team. Obviously, you get into certain situations where you have to be good in that 4-minute offense as well. But that's what our guys, that's their gig. That's what they're hyped up about. When we get to going fast, you can tell they're looking over at me saying, hey, faster, 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 and that's what we want.
Yeah, and that's where you put the other team's depth into question. And, they can't roll a bunch of D-line guys in every play when you're going too fast. So, but Coach, how do you see the quarterback position falling out? You lose Cunningham. So what's the
lost a great leader in Chase, man. Obviously, he's for what he lacked ability-wise, he made up for just in his leadership, his personality, all of those things. As well as I do, especially with the guy who's coaching that group with Brent. He's as hardcore as they come. He works those guys. They have a great personality, and just great energy about them. But I'll tell you, Nick Vattiato, he's probably one of the smartest, and when I say that, best at processing quickly that I've been around in a long time. I mean, that kid, because that's the give and take. When you go tempo, there's only so many things you can do and only so many things you can put on his plate. But with him, it's amazing how fast he can get up there and just see it quickly, make that check and go, And again, Brent does a really good job with him or with that whole group as far as simplifying what what we're asking them to do. But right now, I would say that he's our front runner. He's our guy that makes us tick. And then after that, that's what we've got to figure out. We've got DJ Riles, who's a great athlete. I mean, that dude, he can do some things with his legs. Been throwing the ball very nice. Then you got Kyle Lowe. He's kind of in that middle. He can run a little bit, good thrower. You got Wren, who we signed, the JUCO kid that's coming in. So between those guys, there's a big battle for that, who's going to be that backup spot. And they're going to get a lot of reps today. We wanted to put them in that situation where we get an awful lot of reps with those backup guys.
Awesome. Well, you lose Jalen Lane in the portal. You lose a bunch of other guys just to graduation. DJ, and Elijah Metcalf had big moments last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like those are the top two guys coming back. What are some other names we should look for in the receiver position? Because like you said, you've got to be deep with how fast you guys go and want to push the ball. So what are some names that people should be looking out for?
I tell you who's had a tremendous offseason is Sherman over there at our X position. He's a bigger receiver. He's an outside guy. He's had a tremendous offseason for us, made a lot of plays. Our H position, which is kind of our hybrid tight end, if you look at us, we play a lot of 10 personnel, but we're kind of with a pseudo 11 personnel. That way we can, again, because of tempo, we can change all of those looks without taking anybody off the field. So you got Jeremy Tate, you got Holden Willis. Those two guys are in a huge battle for that starting H position. They've done a tremendous job. You've got some newcomers. I tell you, Kellen Stewart was a kid that we picked up from the portal from Austin Peay. He can run. Like run. He's fast. So you got him. Trying to think, and then you've got some guys like some Bryce Baileys and some Wards and some guys like that who have been here and now they're starting to get a lot more reps. So you want to see how they do with that, and they've done a tremendous job. You got Kalani Norris. He was a transfer we picked up from Georgia Tech. Has had a good camp. We're doing a little package with him today. And then I tell you, the other one over there with Sherman at X has been the Justin Olson kid. He was a transfer we got from North Carolina. Big kid. He's kind of, you can see him out, a big kid. He's all tatted up. Just got that, just kind of that greaser mentality. As a skill guy, and works hard and all that. He's fun. He thinks that every ball that comes his way, he's going to catch it. That's his mentality.
Gotta be that way, right?
So he's going to be a lot of fun. Between him and Sherman, those are guys that you can put out there kind of by themselves and just give them a lot of room and let them work. He's had a couple of deep balls this camp, so been really excited about that group.
Awesome.
Coach, we talked about the O-line a little bit, but you get Frank Peasant back.
Yep.
So what's going to be the key to improving the running game this year?
They're the same thing. I think depth. I think last year, it's no question when Frank went out, we had a big drop-off, especially because we could never get Irvin healthy. Sparrow got hurt early. So our depth was kind of bad there. Now all of a sudden you've got Frank Peasant, which I love that kid. I mean, he's an
animal.
Man, he is. Yeah. That's a great word for him because he's got the speed that you need, but he's also just a physical runner. He'll run over your face, but he can catch. He can do all of those things. I tell you, Flip behind him, the kid that we picked up from Northern Illinois, Flip Cradle, dude, he's electric now.
He's a young guy too, isn't he?
He's a young guy. So he went to high school with DJ Riles, and that was kind of how that this whole relationship started when he entered the portal. Was we were able to DJ was kind of recruiting for us too when he went into the portal. But man, he's electric. Terry Wilkins, he's just as that dude. He's funny because he doesn't do anything flashy, but it just always seems like good things happen when he touches. La Tech. He has to go in there for one play, boom, pops a 60-yard touchdown, or whatever. And he's had a couple of plays like that. But I tell you, the other one that we're fired up about is Jaquel Middlebrook, the true freshman that we signed out of high school. He's from Georgia, Langston Hughes. They were state champions.
Yeah.
And, man, that dude, he can change direction and go just as fast running sideways as he is straight and then change direction. He don't look like much. He's kind of a bad body kid. I joke around with him all the time because he doesn't look great. But, man, he's got some movement skills. We're really excited about him.
That's one of those guys, if you're the opposing fan. This is me with Paul Pierce, Jeff. You're just like, why is this guy good? And it's pissing me off because he's good and he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like you watch him on tape and inside, he got no calf muscles.
Strength coach
and it's
hates
like,
him.
it's like, well, look at this guy. But, man, his movement skills are really good.
Well, that's all exciting stuff, Coach. Before we let you go, so we're doing some research. Came across my table that you're a Valdosta guy.
I am.
All right. So Buster Faulkner was our OC the last year that I was here.
Yeah.
I got to know, because Buster always talked a big game. What was he like as a player?
Yeah. Okay.
Off the field and on the field.
That's a great segue because we were just talking about a bad body kid who can go out there and play. Buster was every bit of 5'9". Do not let him fool you. Had a beer belly half the time.
No doubt.
And brother, he would go out there and he would throw it behind his back. He would option. He never threw a spiral. Not one time did I ever throw him a spiral. And his first year as a starter led us to a national championship. He was just that gritty dude. He was a lot of fun. He was actually I kid when he got that job at Georgia Tech. I said, everybody looks at you. You're the coordinator at Georgia Tech. You make all this money. Little do they know. If they want to know some stories, I said, just call me because I got them.
Oh, that's great. We love Buster and had a great time when he was here. And, every time we do the trash can drill in the corner of the end zone, he was right there throwing them.
Yeah.
He's like, I might not throw a spiral, but damn it, it's going in the bucket.
Ain't no doubt. And I tell you what, he's got a son. His son,
I saw that.
Yeah, he's a good little player. He's a young kid. I think he goes to school down at North Oconee, right outside of Athens, and he's going to be a good little player now. I think he's a freshman. I think he's going into or maybe his sophomore year, but he's a young kid. He's going to be really good. Really
Fantastic.
Good.
Keep an eye on that. You definitely tell Buster's one of the guys, one of the boys
time.
for sure.
He's a guy's guy now.
Yeah. Well, Coach, man, we really appreciate you hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Fired up to see a lot of points, a lot of plays.
Absolutely.
We'd love
Thank
to
you guys.
check in middle of the season or something, too, and get you on the pod, give us an update.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. Appreciate what you guys do for us, man. I really
100%.
do.
Appreciate it, Coach. Well, Sprouse, I'm sold. I might need to change my Conference USA pick.
Oh, boy, you're sold already. Somebody just yelled out about us. I don't know who it was. You hear that?
I did hear it.
We
got fans everywhere, Sprouse.
Well, they are. You like to see. You just hope these guys are in the stands this fall at the games. I did see where they sold out the indoor boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking to Coach Stock right now. Jeff Murphy wore number 12 in college. They got a guy number 12 here right now. I mean, from the back, you kind of built too. He looks just like him.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you. Wait till you see him run. Remember how you're 12? It seemed like the number. Well, Coach, I always got the hand-me-down stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But
we'll get Coach on here.
Yeah,
here in
we'll
a
get
few
him
minutes,
on in a little bit. But yeah, I was saying, they sold out the indoor suites, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I think, Jeff, what's going to piss me off is if those people are in there watching another football game while Middle's on the field playing.
Sprouse, don't get me started. Last year, we get done calling a game. I did the radio for the Blue Raiders last year, and I think it was a close game. We lost.
Yeah.
But then I look see you, Chris. I look across the stadium, and the outdoor boxes are open.
Yeah.
And you got these Blue Raider fans dressed all in MT gear, and they are just fired up cheering because Tennessee beat somebody.
They had just beat Alabama.
They just beat Alabama, and I was so pissed off.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I get it, whatever, you're a fan of whoever you want to be, whatever, but don't come to a middle game. What's going on, Lee?
Lee, what's happening?
How you doing? But don't come here and after a tough loss, players are walking off the field and you're just cheering for the Vols. It's just really it pissed me off.
Yeah. Well, you hope that one time I sat in I think Zeke was out of town and he hooked me up with some sweet tickets one time, and I remember just being up there and it was a good game. I want to say it was the Duke game. Duke came here a few years back, and I remember sitting up there and seeing these guys just not on a big third down play, just not getting up off their feet or on their feet, not cheering. You got to have that. And that's why, you really hope that the students can jump on board with this. You hope maybe, you're probably going to remove some seats with the new facility.
Yep.
So tighten it up, get everybody compact, get everybody
they
together.
Needed that.
That's right. 100%. So, what we got here? These guys flexing now, or is this now officially pre-practice?
I think so.
They've been out here a long time.
I know, I've been out here an hour. And now just officially kicking it off and getting underway. But there's just a feeling, Sprouse, in the air right now.
You're getting
I'm
sold,
almost
Jeff.
getting
You're
butterflies.
sold. Yeah.
Like I need to just go back out there. You know what I mean?
Well, one thing I noticed with Coach Stewart, he name dropped so many guys.
A lot of guys.
So that's a good sign for depth when
Yeah.
they're excited about that many guys, because not all of them are even going to play, especially them running backs he's talking about. You look out there, I mean, there's some size on this team. I feel like there's some more size than a typical. We got, what is this, receiver DB one-on-ones right in front of us here.
One-on-ones, release drill.
There's your guy 15, the transfer out of North Carolina,
He's
right? He's a big kid.
He's a big kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's honestly was my biggest question mark besides the offensive line was how are you going to replace Gaithings?
Yeah.
Lane, a lot of production. Yusuf Ali.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your three top guys that are gone. And DJ had times where he was hurt last year. So
yeah,
it's a welcome sight that Coach Stewart's fired up about the receivers that they got in.
Yeah.
And then one thing that surprised me too is, he all but named Vadiato the starter.
He did.
So, I kind of thought that's how it was going to be. Vadiato has the most experience by far out of the group. When Cunningham got hurt in 2021, he finished the season, had some key wins down the stretch, got him to a bowl game, and then they beat a very tough Toledo team in the Bahamas Bowl. So he had a couple opportunities last year when Cunningham went down again, but it was limited action. But no, I think Vadiato's a special kid. Florida kid.
He's a Broward kid, I believe. Broward County, Florida, Jeff.
And a lot of hype coming out from him down there, right, Sprouse?
Yeah. Well, I remember, again, I was down there at that FAU game versus Middle, and he wasn't playing, but I was talking to some coaches and some people about him. And he's one of those guys that everybody was talking about, going down there at the 7-on-7 camps, going down there at camps and just being, this little kid, this little quarterback down there in Broward and Dade County going to 7-on-7 and just being a gamer.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what you need, especially, Brent Stockstill's the coach.
I love Brent.
I love Brent, too. He's got a mustache. I don't know if you saw him out there. He's got a mustache going. I'm looking at these DBs.
You don't like mustaches?
These are, when we had Gilstrap on, who's now the DB coach at UAB, he mentioned kind of the mold of the Middle Tennessee corner and DB. Look how just tall and long these guys are.
Yep. That's what they've wanted.
Well, and I mean, that's what the NFL wants.
100%.
And that's how so many of these guys have had success in the league.
Yeah, and Teldrick Ross being the top cornerback coming back this year. He's gonna get the best shot out of all the number ones that he comes across. So you got Western in this conference, Liberty in this conference, so it's going to be interesting to watch him. But he had a great season last year. 76 total tackles, 18 pass deflections, only had 2 interceptions. But that's great production. I mean, as long as you're getting the ball on the ground and keeping it out of the receiver's hands, I mean, what more could you ask for?
Well, and they've had, 2 out of the last 3 years where a corner on this roster has been at least tied for the nation's lead in picks. So, again,
and the group as a whole just being, top 5, top 10 in the nation in interceptions. So that's going to be huge, continuing that success that they've had, over the last 4 or 5 years with that group.
Well, we talked about kind of the lack of depth on the O-line last year, and then hopefully they've got that fixed this year. But turnovers and special teams is how you win 8 games last year
100%.
with 6 scholarship offensive linemen or whatever they had, at the end of the season right there. So I'm fired up for it, Jeff.
I agree. We got a little. This is crazy. It's still pre-practice out here.
Yeah, because they haven't
offense
even
and
flexed
defense
yet.
are kind of going at it a little bit, but no helmets. Just getting everybody loosened up, ready to go for a full. I wonder how many periods they got. How many periods they going today, Sprouse? What are you thinking?
It's just probably an 18-period practice.
Second day in pads, I believe.
Yeah. By the way, I just got confirmation. The gentleman that drove by and shouted out Group of 5 guys, Nick Caskey.
I love that guy.
Shout out to Nick Caskey. We love you, buddy.
Yeah.
Thinking about you all the time, man. Appreciate your support always.
Always.
Too,
Always and forever. Caskey's that whole family is just an incredible group of people.
Yeah, 100%. But they really changed the music, Jeff.
They did.
It was Little John.
Yep.
And now it's
Wagon
Wheel.
And it's the Darius Rucker version.
Yeah.
It's not even the original version.
Not a fan.
No. It's just I didn't get the blood flowing on a practice like this,
doesn't.
I don't think.
And hopefully they'll turn the volume up a little bit, go back to either some hip hop or maybe some a little more, even rock or even some faster, some better country. Hopefully they'll do that for flex and get these guys fired up for the practice. Camp, man. Have they not started school yet? I guess not.
No, they start August. I think the 28th is when they start, or that week, whatever that week is. I'll say this, Browse. One thing that I was worried about our size a little bit. I'm sorry. Trying not to be a homer. I was worried about the Blue Raiders' size a little bit.
Our size. It's all right, man. Hey.
But especially at the receiver position, we're a lot taller than I thought. Because last year, other than Gaithings and Tate, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the guys were small. But you look at Holden Willis, I think he's 6'1", if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry. Holden Willis is 6'4". He's a transfer coming in. So I'm just fired up about who we got going in. Lee, what's going on, man?
Lee, there he is.
Assistant
It's the guy that makes it happen.
He makes everything move.
The guy
at this university.
got the fundraising for the facilities right there. One thing too, going back to the facilities. Look, full disclosure, we've been hard on Mr. Chris Massaro as
100%.
the AD, and I definitely appreciate him coming and talking to us. But I love what he said. It's what I feel like we say all the time. Hey, look, you're not Ohio State. You're not Alabama. You're not Georgia.
Yep.
But like he said, those middle-of-the-road ACC teams, they're no different. I mean, that's why you can go beat Miami at Miami. That's why you can get, you can play Duke or Wake Forest or whoever tight. Every year Middle plays one of those teams tight. Like we'll see it this year. You'll see Alabama and, they'll do what Alabama does. But then you'll go to Mizzou and you'll look like you belong when you go to Mizzou. So that's where I like what he said about that, that vision. And I just hope that Middle and some of these other Group of 5 schools have that long term, and they don't. It's like what you talked about the other night. These guys are it's like an impulse.
Yep.
Like, we got to go to the Big Ten. We got to do it because everybody's doing it.
Just relax. Everybody relax. Calm down. Be patient. And that's one thing I will say. Like when the Conference USA, you had teams leave last year. Like I feel like there was widespread panic amongst a lot of teams in Conference USA and fans and staff and all this thing.
Yeah.
I got to give Massaro credit. I think staying Conference USA was the right move, especially from a financial perspective, because I think a lot of people don't understand that in order for them to leave, if they were going to go to the MAC, for example, they would have to pay exit fees to get out of Conference USA, pay entry fees into the MAC, and that's millions of dollars for that. But by staying in it, you get the exit fee money share from the teams that left, and you get the entrance money fees from the new teams that added in. So, I mean, I think we're going to continue to get realignment. We're going to continue to get teams to hop around. And if you can just hunker down and be patient, I really do believe that the group of 5 is going to stay strong and come out on top in a lot of these situations.
I think you're in a really good spot. And, I fell victim to, hearing about the MAC rumors, and it was exciting.
Yeah.
It was exciting because you're going to get some new teams. You're going to be able to play some new teams that you don't play often. But then you get to thinking about it. Are you really going to go up to Buffalo, New York? If
I
you're
don't
middle,
go up to
yeah. I mean,
cold up there in the winter time.
It's a little bit cold. Yeah, I mean, you think about the games when we, you think about the conference championship game that was here a couple years ago. You think about when we came up for the Marshall game, and it's cold and it's raining here in November, December.
Yep.
Imagine Buffalo. Imagine 1,000 miles north.
That's what
Jeff.
I'm saying. So I think,
no offense to Buffalo, you guys are used to that. That's your climate.
Yeah.
And for Buffalo, you really want to go down to, Middle Tennessee in September? Probably not.
Yeah.
So here we go. They're finally starting to flex. Here, look at
Stock's right.
What's
number
that?
12.
Oh, he looks just like you, Jeff. I don't know if
I like it.
Murph. Shout out to you, by the way, Murph, on the camera on the production here. If you can get a camera on number 12 here in black jersey right at the back, that's Jeff Murphy reincarnated. We're going to maybe go get a close-up on this. We're going to get the road camera ready to go.
There you go, Murph.
Get him number 12 in black, quarterback.
He's way, I mean, he looks 10 times better than I did in Paz. But similar build. Not a super tall guy.
Yeah.
Can't see him down. They're getting the old hip stretched out.
Yeah, the old pigeon stretch.
I can't wait to get things cranked up here.
No, me either. I mean, we've been on the air. We've had a bunch of guys. We're going to get Coach Stock over here in a few minutes, I think.
Just a couple minutes.
And
the top of the hour.
But I'm excited to see these guys. I'm excited to see some of these big body receivers and these tall, long corners. Really excited to see, Middle's defensive line, which is one of the strong suits, go against some of this new O-line.
Well, we talked about the offense with Coach Stewart a little bit. I mean, if they can get the offense hammered down, defense, I think, is going to be top of the conference.
Yeah.
I mean, what you got up front, the guys returning, and we'll do in-depth on them a little bit later. And then the guys you got coming back in the back end as well. And honestly, transfer coming in from Oregon at linebacker with the linebackers they got returning as well. Could be scary, Sprouse.
It's going to be a good team. It's definitely going to be a good team. You really hope that they come out of those first couple of games healthy.
Yeah.
And then for the inevitable when, a couple guys get beat up, that depth is going to have to come through.
Yeah, it's going to be key.
Look at the strength coach out there. That's Matt Hickman. I mean, he's got his sleeves rolled up. He's got the 5-inch shorts on. Why are they like that? Why are strength coaches like that?
He's got the shades on. He's got the shades on.
This is a new age strength coach. It used to be, in our day, spray, kind of a beard guy like us.
Bald head, beard.
Bald beard, usually sweatpants and sweatshirt. We're the strength coach. These new guys, this new era, I mean, I guess if I had arms like that and thighs like that, I'd be out here in the 5 inches as well.
Yeah, you'd have your Lululemons on.
I do have the Lululemons, but I work out in the garage.
No, I'm saying
I'm
if
not
you were
in
out
public.
here, you'd have those things hiked up.
I would.
Well,
I'm hoping.
The Swag Bear's always talking about his thighs. That's why he wears some.
He's got the Lululemons also. If we can get Larry back over here, look at Eric Bartlett.
Eric Bartlett, the man, the myth, the legend.
How are you, sir? If we could get Larry Maples over here, I bet I think they're making team-issued gear now.
Yeah.
A little shorter shorts.
I think so.
A little bit, into that new.
Got to be with the times, Sprouse.
Yeah. You got to do what the kids like. Which it's funny because now I'm sitting there going, God, look at this. Look at these short shorts. And then I look at my parents. Were like, will you pull your shorts over your knee, please? And I'm wearing shorts down to my calves in my day.
Well, it all comes back full circle.
It does. Vintage.
All right, so we're breaking up, going into individual stations, I believe. Getting the QBs loosened up.
Going indie here. Or they probably usually go special teams first, don't they? Let's see. They can kick some field goals.
Zeke Rankin coming back this year again was one of the top kickers in Conference USA last year. That's a huge weapon for the Blue Raiders, I think, going into this season, because if you get close, in that intermediate 35, 40, range, if you can get points on the board, it's massive. You flip the field, you're not giving other offenses a short field, and you're getting points as well. So excited to see Zeke Rankin back. I think he was a preseason all-conference watch player. Nailed it right down the middle.
Yeah, we should have done a little more research on this, and how many guys are from Rutherford County on this roster? How many guys are from Murfreesboro and Nashville? I mean, there's a bunch of them, a bunch of Georgia guys, and then a bunch of Florida guys.
Getting the QBs, we got the road cam, up there. Murph's getting some live action shots.
He throws like you too, Jeff.
His arms are way bigger though.
Not anymore. He does. Like the numbers are stretched out. Like the jersey's a little too small.
12's just too beefy.
Where's he? He's from Georgia, Camden County High School.
QB's getting loosened up.
No, he's not. That's not him. He's not number 12 then.
Not on the official roster. I'm sure they'll switch him up.
Who it is. Sam Driggers, 5'11", 205.
Yep.
Medina, Tennessee, Peabody High School. Jeff Murphy.
Yeah. We're here for you, Coach.
Yeah. I mean,
a guy keeps catching my eye. He's a freshman, and maybe it's just the number because I've always loved this number as a receiver, 85. But Jalen Ward.
Yeah.
He's got long arms, long legs, big hands. They're gonna need plenty of people to step up at that receiver spot this year.
We got Coach Stock gonna join us during practice. What a guy!
Feels special.
I mean, I'm not gonna say anything, but you notice he did all his other interviews, before the players were out here. He's coming to see the group of 5 guys during practice.
Well, there's no question about it.
Yeah, they got us at the end here. Right when you walk in, big branding, like an end cap.
Yeah. We're big on the nightcaps, Sprouse.
Well,
finish off the night.
Look at this. We got a cement truck rolling in.
Smyrna Ready Mix. Nope, it's not. Smyrna Ready Mix.
Smyrna Ready Mix going in there.
Look, he still got it too. Running over here, Coach. Take your time. Take your time. There's no rush. You still got it though.
Coach Rick Stockstill.
Let's go.
Coach, are you still running with that sauna suit around campus?
The sweatsuit?
Certain times of the year, yeah. I don't go around on the concrete anymore. I come out here on the practice fields because the grass is better on my knees and back.
How does your primary physician not outlaw that suit?
He doesn't know about it.
I think it hasn't been banned. I used to have to wear one of those before I was on the 85-pounders. I was 7 years old.
Oh, yeah.
They'd make me wear a trash bag to lose weight right before the game.
Yeah.
I mean, jeez. And they called it abuse. Now they banned that. Coach, this day 2 of pads. You only get probably 2 days of pads before they make you go to shorts or what?
Hey, you're allowed. You're allowed 8 days of full pads, 8 days of shorts and shoulder pads, and then 9 days in shorts. 2 scrimmages. You can't go back-to-back tackling. Like we were in full pads yesterday. We tackled yesterday 16 plays, so we cannot tackle today to the ground. So there's a lot of, and it's probably good. It's probably good for the players. They've really adopted the NFL model.
Yeah. Well, how's camp? I mean, you're a week in now, just about. Maybe
I think this
more?
is number 7, 7th practice, and
what's the vibe?
Murph is great. I mean, everybody's probably saying the same thing, that everything's good and all that stuff. But I really, really like our team right now. I like their intensity. I like their focus. I like the leadership that we're getting. We still have to develop more leadership, especially on offense, because we're not as old or, not as experienced on that side of the ball. But I like where we're at. Guys have had a great attitude. They're working hard. Like I said, their intensity and their effort has been really good.
Coach, who's a either new player, young player that, the public might not know about yet that's having a good camp so far?
I really like our offensive line. Some played last year as backups. Some are going to, start now. Keelan Rutledge, who was a freshman last year, we were going to redshirt. He ended up starting the last 7 or 8 games of the year. Has really had a great camp. Phenomenal leader for a young kid, in great condition, works his tail off. Ethan Ellis, who's from Oakland High School here in town, a junior college guy, was here last year, played a little bit, but he's really come on and done well. And then Sterling Porche, who started at left tackle last year, has done better this year. He was a junior college guy, so he's better. I just like our offensive line. I feel better about our offensive line right now, if we can stay healthy, than I have in a long time. We've got good depth. We got a couple portal guys that came in, and we got a couple junior college guys that just got here this summer also. And then probably a new guy that didn't play last year is Flip Credle, running back. It was a transfer from Northern Illinois. He played, started up there some games. We recruited him out of high school. He was DJ Riles' high school teammate. But we ended up going on 2 portal guys. I felt like we had to get portal running backs last year, so we didn't sign a high school running back that year. So, and fortunate enough for us, we got him back, and he's really had a good camp so far. He was here this spring. I think he's going to help us. And then we got a couple guys on defense. Tyrell Raby's a transfer, just got here. Ricky Smith, a transfer from Purdue, just got here. Those guys, and then some others on offense. Holden Willis, I've been impressed with him from South Florida. Justin Olson from North Carolina. Those guys have done a nice job. So we got, a bunch of new guys that are fitting in really well.
And Coach Stewart was on with us a little bit ago, and he really emphasized, as well as you just did, how much deeper you guys are at a lot of positions. How important is that going to be? And do you think you guys will go that much quicker on offense, hopefully, if everybody does stay healthy? How much of an advantage is that going to be compared to last year?
Yeah, I think it's right now it's the best we've been in a long time, Jeff. And, especially at the skill positions, because you know how much running those guys do, that if we've got, there's a difference in having depth and quality depth.
Yeah.
And right now we have quality depth, that there's not a big drop-off between 1 and 2 at receiver. There's not a big drop-off at 1 and 2 at running back. So if we can keep those guys healthy and fresh, that's going to enable them to play faster and more because they're going to have some backups that can go in there, and that'll help our tempo as well. So we're probably deeper in the offensive line and at running back and receiver than we've been the last couple years.
Coach, switching gears on you a little bit. We've said you've been fighting an uphill battle with facilities. How exciting is that right there?
Yeah, to me, it's a game changer. And, I said it earlier. I spoke at the Optimist Club here in town yesterday, and they were asking about it. And I said, we've had the worst facilities, when we were in the Sun Belt. We had the worst facilities when we were in Conference USA, and now getting this football facility, is a game changer for us. I told them it rained the other day. You guys know how much it rained the other day.
Yep.
Hell, there's water dripping in the locker room. Guys are getting dressed, and it just kind of puts a damper on your spirit. And not only once it's completed, how it's going to make the guys on the team feel It'll make them feel good about themselves. But it's going to be an attraction now to get portal guys, transfer guys in, because they're already used to the Taj Mahals of everything. And now coming here, you'll have something, that you can compete with. So, Matt, it's a game changer. It'll be a game changer for us.
I love it. Yeah, we talked to Mr. Massaro about it. Me and Murph talked about it before. Like, never been so excited to see a stadium being torn apart.
And that's why I'm so proud of our players. I mean, we don't have any NIL money. We don't have any of that. But these guys, they come to work every day. They compete. What we've accomplished, and you guys are part of it, what we've accomplished over the years, is why I'm so proud of these guys, because they've done without and still do, what they've done makes me proud of, of what kind of men they are, what kind of players they are. And once we get that, man, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be really special what we accomplish.
Yeah, and I said that last year with the last season's schedule being so front-loaded. I mean, with ending up 8-5 with a huge bowl win against a great San Diego State team, like, you guys got every bit out of the players, out of the facilities you guys had last year. So getting the update and hopefully complete, I think you said it's a 24-month project. Getting that done is just going to be huge for recruiting, because that's what college football is. It's turning into is just can you recruit and take advantage of the transfer portal.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Jeff. It used to be, guys wanted to, talk about their education and how fast can I get on the field and can I play in the NFL. Now it's how much money am I going to get? How fast can I get on the field? And can I get to the NFL? Education's way down there now, and that's just the reality of it. These guys are making, at the bigger schools, are making so much money, and and not even played yet. Guys are making $1 million and hadn't even just practiced. And so once it gets here, man, I'm jacked about it. I think it's going to be awesome.
We can't wait for it.
We're jacked about it too. I got one more question for you. So, Strap goes down to UAB, but how important is it having a bunch of former middle guys coaching here?
It means the world to me, because I know what you guys mean to me. I know what you guys meant to this program, and any way I can try to help guys, we got, Brent, here, we got Shane Tucker here. We got Alex here now, who you guys played with. It's special to me. And then young guys, Blake Catlett, J.K. Wyatt, all these guys, I had hired Ferg. He got cut by Seattle. I hired him. He was going to be an analyst. He gets called back by Seattle on Monday, so he goes out there. So I think when he was here, we had 8 guys, Octavius Mathers, Marquise Shakur, we had 8 guys, former players, that are coaching. And, I know how much that means to them, what this program meant to them, and now they can give it back to these players and give it back to this program. And I'm fired up about it. We got the best staff that we've had since I've been here. I'm fired up about it, and those guys are doing and will continue to do a great job.
Love it. Coach, you probably got to get to practice, huh?
It's kind of cool over here.
You can hang out, yeah.
Get the breeze.
If Josh Walker was here, I'd be checking and see what you guys got in them cans.
Careful. Walker's probably shooting a bow and arrow somewhere in the middle of the mountains.
Nowhere, yeah.
Dang, I love me some Josh.
We do too.
He's out there. He's a real outdoorsman.
Yeah, he is.
Everybody else is just pretending. He's a real one.
Yeah, he's about it for sure.
Coach,
sure.
We love you, and we just appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you guys doing this, man. Appreciate you doing this. And y'all need a sandwich. I know a great one down there on the square y'all can go get.
Domenico's Italian Deli, Jeff
Let's
Murphy.
Go, baby. Let's go. Love you guys, man. Love you.
Love you, Coach.
Check out that number 12 at quarterback.
I've
now,
already
Murray.
seen him. He throws it better than I do. I love that man. With all my heart.
He's fired up, isn't he?
He is.
Little extra juice, I feel like, maybe.
I'm with you. I don't know if it's just the start of camp or start of football season. Everybody's fired up, but there's a buzz.
Yeah.
Sprouse, there's a buzz around here.
Well, you got to think. I mean, it's been 12 years since we were going through camp.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's a decade older, but he don't look it, and he's acting like, I don't know. I think he feels good about the season, Jeff.
I think he does too. And I mean, a couple names that we've heard twice now. Creedle, the running back.
Yeah.
Sounds like they're expecting him to be a big part of that running back room led by Frank Pizon. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
What are we doing? Routes on air right here?
You got routes on air over here. Kind of individual. You got the O-line kind of doing some. Look like maybe blitz pickup down there at the other end. Keelan Rutledge, I've heard that name a bunch. We talk about the O-line.
He had a lot of time last year.
He's a preseason all-conference guy, I believe.
DJ Riles looked like he's beefed up too. He's bigger than he was last year.
Well, Jeff, let's look at the schedule a little bit.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you open at Bama on SEC Network. You know, it is what it is, right?
Tough game, but hey, go in there, ball out, do what you can do, and put up a fight.
That's right. Well, that's where, if you're one of these guys that's trying to go to the NFL, right, that's how you got to look at that game, because that's going to be the tape that all the NFL scouts put on. They're going to say, okay, how did you play against, arguably the best program over the last 20 years? How did you play against them? And then if you're the coaching staff, it's probably, keep it relatively simple.
Yeah.
Don't show a whole bunch of your stuff and keep everybody healthy. And then you go to Mizzou, same thing, but I think that's certainly a lot more of a winnable game.
Yeah.
I think
I just get
Mizzou
worried
before.
about, it's going to be such a physical game down in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
How banged up do you get, playing them?
Yeah.
Because Mizzou's a very winnable game. That's just, again,
right.
Tough stretch to start the season, Alabama and Missouri.
Well, and then, you have 4 non-conference games before you go to Western to open up Conference USA play. And obviously Western's the favorite in the conference.
Yep.
You got, you're at Western and you're at Liberty. So you're on the road against the 2 heavyweights in this conference. And in my opinion, Middle's the 3rd heavyweight in this conference this year.
Yeah.
So, you look at Murray State and you look at Colorado State, certainly winnable games. They beat Colorado State pretty good last year. But again,
they're going to be better this year.
They're going to be better. And if you're Middle, I'm not saying they're gonna, but you could start 0-4 and win the conference.
Yeah.
And that's where, what do you want to do? Do you want to try to get a 10-win season, or do you want to make sure you win the conference?
Yep.
And if I know Coach Stock, like I think I do, they're going to try to win everything. They're going to try to win every game.
100%.
But definitely seemed like he was excited about the year. I'm excited about it for sure.
Well, I mean, it's football season. We're here and finishing out the rest of this conference. I mean, after that Liberty game, you go at New Mexico State, which is, you're going to Virginia.
Yeah.
And then down in New Mexico, that's a tough travel schedule.
The good news is they're at Liberty on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, that's when that Conference USA
and then
midweek starts.
So it's going to be a week and a half, 2 weeks between those games. It's going to be like 10 days between those 2 games. So that's going to be that's going to be a big point in the season, because you're going to have, you're going to have a lot of conference implications going to New Mexico State and then FIU, then UTEP, and then Sam Houston. But you've got that long layoff after Liberty, where that's where you got to make sure everybody's healthy.
Yep.
But you also got to make sure everybody is, on it.
Yeah.
Take a bye week. You don't want to come back rusty or, anything like that. So
yeah, because
that's always
like you said, that last stretch is going to be huge on how the season's ultimately going to turn out. Are they going to have a shot at the championship game? Can they get bowl eligible? That type of thing.
This midweek thing is interesting, because you're playing Colorado State at home on a Saturday, and then you're at Western 5 days later. on a Thursday. And then you're home versus Jacksonville State 6 days later on a Wednesday. And then you're home 6 days after that. So you're playing
short weeks.
You're playing 4 games in a span of, what is that? I'm trying to do the math here. You're playing 4 games in the span of 11, 3 weeks, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep an eye on, too. I'm sure they'll be in shorts quite a bit. I don't know what they'll be allowed to do.
I'll tell you what, Vadiatos, he's been on point since he's come out here today. He is dropping the ball right where it needs to be. Little switch route concept action, vertical concept. I love it. And that's really what I want to see this season more and more.
He's a big kid.
They took some shots down the field last year. We saw that at Miami.
Yeah.
But I'd really like to see them push the ball vertically down the field. Really stretch these defenses, get guys back. That way maybe it opens up the running game. Because they got to be able to run the ball better. Like Coach Stewart said, when Peasant got hurt last year, it was tough sledding for a couple weeks until he got back, and they just can't have that, especially in the middle of this schedule.
Yeah.
Defense, we got DBs over here doing one-on-one press drills. Let's talk about the defense a little bit, Sprouse. We briefly mentioned Teldrick Ross.
Yeah.
But, I got to say it's led by their top tackler coming back from last year, Trey Fluellen. 104 total tackles last year, 8 pass deflections, 2 picks, and one of those went back to the house. He leads that defense vocally and then just by his play. Excited to see him in another season with the Blue Raiders.
Well, and I think, too, Jeff, a lot of the reason, Coach Stock talked about Ferguson quite a bit, who just signed the other day. I saw that with the Seahawks again. But they bring back Zaylin Wood and Marley Cook. Both of them had 6.5 sacks last year. So that's going to be part of the reason these DBs have good seasons. Because if you're putting that much pressure on the quarterback, as you know, that's going to contribute to more turnovers than just great coverage.
Yeah, and that's been kind of their key, really. Underlying key to the defensive backs being able to get so many turnovers is that front pressure. So definitely replacing a guy like Ferg. That's a tall task, but between those two guys, you also have Quindarius Dunnigan, who did a good job last year, spelling those guys. Both Wood and Cook had 6.5 sacks last year, but I think Cook is going to be the key. He was an inside guy last year. Shout out Trey, just threw up the deuces.
He's a big kid.
He's a lot bigger than he lists on paper.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Cook's going to be a key because whenever you can get inside pressure on a quarterback, that's the toughest pressure to deal with from a quarterback standpoint. And when you're going against, Austin Reed up at Western, Jonathan Bennett, who's probably going to be the starter at Liberty.
Well, and then you're going to have the Colorado
Hardison
State.
down at UTEP. Yeah,
it's crew coming here.
You got to get pressure on the quarterbacks, and it starts with those two.
What we got here, Jeff? 7-on-7, and it looks like O-line, D-line, either pass pro or half line over there.
That's what it's looking like. I'm excited to see this.
Yeah.
7-on-7. Now this is like half line for the receivers essentially, half the field.
Scale.
No, this is you're working basically Pascal working half the field. There's DJ England Chisholm, he's got to be the top returning receiver. Last year had that huge game down in Miami.
Yeah.
Who really sealed the deal on that 99-yard touchdown reception.
You called it. If you listen to that call, there's a color commentator that's like, we should take a shot right here.
Well, that's one of the things. You get 2 options basically. You're down on the goal line, press man coverage. You're gonna either try and pound it out, which Middle didn't have the offensive line to do, or you got to take a shot, and that's what they did, and it worked out. And I went nuts when that happened. That was the icing on the cake.
This
sealed the win.
This little fast screen play that they are running right here is. I hate this play, Jeff.
I know you do.
because you've got to have 2 receivers make a one-on-one block.
Yep.
And then you still have to miss.
Yeah. Great cut. Who's that? 36.
Look at Brent Brock, Jeff Murphy.
Brent's the man. No, but the whole concept between that's
the CEO of this show right here. What's up, BB?
He makes the wheels turn.
He does.
But yeah, no, I mean the whole concept between the fast screen and the bubble screen action is you get a big play, you get up there, go fast. You're either going to hand it off, or if you got 3-on-2 on the outside, you're going to throw it out there.
Yeah, see, and that's what you got to hope for. That right there is make that first guy miss.
Yeah, you make one
the first guy
miss.
over pursue, and then you got a chance.
Yeah, now you got some big plays, especially when the defense is on their heels and they're tired. It's a big part of the Stewart offense, the air raid offense, if I may.
It's a really good double team. I don't know if we got that on camera by the center and left guard.
No, we're cameras on this.
I know you guys don't care about that, but
a lot of new faces out here at the receiver position.
Yeah. It's funny because it's like a lot of new people, but then it's a lot of the same,
Yeah.
Mark and Eric, Nathan, Larry. Some of these guys have been out here for pretty much since Stock's been here.
Yeah.
Maybe before that, I don't even know.
Larry's been here. He's one of the assistant ADs now, if I'm not mistaken. He was heavily involved in the new facility that's being built. But he was the ball guy and equipment guy when I first got here.
That's one thing that I don't really know if that's who deserves the most credit for that. But we've watched how many ball guy and equipment guys come through here that are now, ADs or assistant ADs.
Yeah.
You go all the way back to Troy, head equipment guy for us when we first get here. AD, or I guess he's the assistant AD at FAMU. Courtney.
Yep.
Courtney Gaucher, now the AD at Tulane.
Yep.
Shout out to him. May or may not see him in a couple of weeks. And then Larry, who's now making a lot of these things happen with these facilities and with, these upgrades.
Yeah, and he's done a good job. He's pretty much every place they've been in the last 3 to 4 years since he's been traveling like that. He's gone into every facility across the country that Middle has played at and really done his research. So he's had everything, all the information he needs to put into this facility and building. It's a huge accomplishment. And that's just a huge credit to him. He loves the program. He cares about it.
Yeah.
He wants to see it improve.
I like this idea. I don't know if a bunch of schools are doing this. We were talking with Coach Stewart about it. You watch an NFL Network inside training camp.
Yeah.
And I think we need to see more of this. And I will, make the claim to any Group of 5 school out there. We'll try our best to make it happen.
Absolutely.
If y'all want us to set up shop and check out practice a little bit. I would love to get to every single Group of 5 school one time per year, whether it be spring ball, summer workouts, camp, and then, of course, the games. But this is a great idea. I don't know if this is a Mark Owens thing, but really good idea, really good job. Several Nashville and Middle Tennessee radio stations out here doing shows.
Yeah, well, giving us the access, too.
100%.
Just allowing us to come out here and having the ability to set up, and Cameron Lacey just caught a ball, and he's made a couple nice catches and cuts after the fact today so far. I'm in my opinion, the receiver room is wide open. There's a ton of targets that need to go somewhere, and I think it's going to be kind of by committee. Different games is going to have different guys that step up.
Well, I think that's the kind of offense that you have here too. You don't have you're not running some pro style where you got one big time number one that you're just gonna, when in doubt, throw it.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna be by committee. You might have 3-4 guys that have, 500, 600, 700 yards, but you may not have one guy that goes over 1,000.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of what you're dealing with.
What do we got over here? We got inside drill down here.
Well, they got that Joe pole up in the air.
We got the QBs over there. I think I might take a walk, Sprouse.
Yeah, they got inside.
Take this cam and see if I can't get the audio working on this so we can.
I'm going to watch from here. My legs are both asleep, so I can't get up at the moment. Jeff, when you get down there, I don't know if you can hear me.
Can you hear me?
Just from the eye test from here. Put the headphones on here.
taking a little stroll here. Got running backs and linebackers.
By the way,
here's the two guys. Make it work right here.
Not bad.
I like the stripes, Larry.
you know, Larry's one of those guys that he does a lot, but every time I come out here, he's either on a scooter, a golf cart, or standing on the sideline.
I can't hear you, Sprouse, but hopefully you can hear me.
I can hear you. I don't know what the world can hear right now, but we're watching inside here. You got two. That's when you know you've got depth. I mean, you basically got the left side of the line on one hash, the right side of the line on the other hash, running inside. I mean, definitely more size.
Got half line right here is what this is. Modified inside period. I cannot tackle like Stock said.
You know, Jeff, I'm sure the skill guys love this. But this is the same practice for the O-line. You know, for the O-line, it doesn't matter if it's full pads, shoulder pads, shorts. They're full go every time, no matter what. So, you know, everybody else gets to wrap up or, you know, do whatever they do, two-hand touch. Not O-line, D-line.
There's Terry Wilkins. Running back who got some time last year. Made a lot of, they took advantage of his opportunities last year, especially like Coach Stewart said at La Tech.
Yeah, 12 does look just like Jeff Murphy out there carrying out the fake. It's pretty funny to watch the mannerisms of these guys and see, you know, everybody, I'm sure coaches think like that all the time, that somebody reminds them of somebody else that they used to coach. I think I lost sound on.
But I'll tell you what, he looks the part.
I think they got. This is kind of a. DB and receiver tackling drill here.
Want no part of that.
Feel me? I got it all.
Want no part of that. My knees hurt, my back hurt.
By the way, Murph, are you going to drink this energy drink right here? Are you sure? I'm a little caffeine. I drove through the night. I'm on. I'm on the air, Jeff.
Oh,
okay. But, yeah, I mean, we'll probably watch for a few more minutes and go.
Turn the mic off. Sorry. Not real novices did this thing.
You know, Jeff, you know, I just asked for other schools to invite us over, and then you go out there and pull something like that.
Look, we're still working with the technology. Still working through a lot of this technology, Sprouse. Getting the kinks worked out, but we'd love to go anywhere any school that would love to have us. So, but I hope more schools do this.
Yeah, I
honestly.
think it's a great idea. I really do. I really think it's a fantastic idea. I think that, you know, like Coach Stewart said, the players get fired up about it because it's big time. You know, it makes you feel like this is a really freaking important day.
Yeah. Which it is. It is for them. And
yeah.
Shoot, absolutely it is for us. So.
Yeah.
Going on here?
I don't know, but I love watching. every O lineman that's ever played does the same waddle from period to period.
It's just excruciating.
It's like a bounce so that it looks like you're running.
Yeah. We got a little.
I don't know. We just going offensive tempo right here.
I think
maybe?
so. No, it can't be tempo because they're going in.
You're going into red zone or something.
Yeah. So Mike Polly.
I mean, they're definitely big. I mean, you look at Rutledge at right guard is a big kid.
Who's that right tackle?
Yeah, right tackle, 61. It's Jayshun Bodiford, 6'3", 290, redshirt junior.
He's a big kid.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Middle has missed the last few years, really, is just a really stout running game. And I know some of their philosophies have changed. But, I mean, think about backs in years past, Philip Tanner, Benny Cunningham. I mean, just guys that they could confidently give the rock to on a regular basis. And Frank was definitely that last year.
Yeah.
But it seemed like a lot of times that he was having to make too many guys miss, breaking arm tackles. I mean, give that guy some decent running lanes, and I think he could be a 1,000-yard back easy.
Well, I'd love to see somebody at Middle have those, 30 touches a game.
Yeah.
I love that. There's nothing more and there's nothing more that if you have a guy like that, them linebackers and safeties and D linemen that are making those tackles 30 times a game, it's going to wear on them. Especially if you got these, 300-plus pound O linemen leaning on them all game long, going tempo all game long. And then end of the game, you need to put it away, and you got a guy that you can just trust with the rock like that.
Little running back slip screen to the side. Good ball by Vadiato. And you gotta have two. Just the odds of your quarterback. That's number 0 I was talking about over an inside drill. I'm not sure who he is, but he looks the part.
It's not that guy.
No, it's not him. They got guys in different numbers.
Yeah, well, he's got a red jersey on, so he's got
an
an injury.
knee brace, so it's non-contact. But you got to have two quarterbacks that can, that can go. It's just too physical of a game, especially in this style of offense where the quarterback throws it so much. But so far, Riles he's been throwing the ball really well.
He's stout. 39, Terry Wilkins, little bowling ball, 5'8", 194.
Yeah, had good moments last year.
Well, Jeff, I think we've had a hell of a morning.
I agree. I mean, just the opportunity to come out here and watch practice.
Yeah.
Get to interview Massaro, Coach Stewart, Coach Stock.
Yeah.
Appreciate them and the administration letting us come out here and do this.
Yeah. No question about it.
It's been some great inside information that we didn't have.
It is. And again, from the eye test, it's definitely a bigger team. Definitely would appear they've got more depth. Stock seems juiced about the season. I honestly, I never seen Chris Massaro show so much emotion.
I agree. The last thing we've talked about it enough, but just the construction in the background, it's got to be like, all right, it's coming.
Yeah.
It gets you fired up every time you walk by it. You see progress, and that's what you got to have.
Yeah. No question about it. Well, we're going to sign off here. Group of 5 guys. Make sure you guys follow us on all the social media platforms at Group of 5 guys. Check us out. Check out our podcast on Spotify, Apple Pod, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. And then you can go to group5guys.com, get you some swag. We're going to sign off. We're going to watch a little bit more of practice, and we'll catch you later in the week. Colorado State offensive coordinator Matt Mummy coming on with us. And then you can check out our podcast from last night, American Conference Preview. Jeff, it's been fun, my friend.
Been awesome.
We're signing off.